Hello, everyone. This is Ben Dunn, founder of Antarctic Press, a publishing company founded in 1985. Creator of such comics as Warrior Nun, Ninja High School, Marvel Manga Burst, Mighty Tiny, Tomorrow Girl, Warrior Nun, and a host of other comics. So, last night, or yesterday, we had storms rip through the town. It was, very bad, It didn't last very long, but in the short time it was here, it's very interesting to see Mother Nature in all its raw power and how truly helpless as human beings we are in the face of such unbridled natural raw power. And it got me thinking about power in general and what does it mean to have power? We use the word power a lot. And I often wondered, what exactly does that mean? What does it mean to have power? I'm thinking that maybe in the classical comic book sense, power is always some sort of nebulous thing that sort of manifests itself in some sort of way that it's sort of undefined. I think it comes down to power being, one's ability to manipulate or change his or her surroundings to his own will. And I think that's really fundamentally is what it comes down to. And then I thought to myself, well, what does it mean to have power in the comic industry? Who has power? A lot of people think that they have power because they feel like they can influence. And there's a difference between being influenced and having power, real power. Power is sort of like your ability to make things happen at a whim. You decide you want to do something and you do it and no one can stop you. The thing about it is that we as people, especially as creators, we voluntarily give them power. The thing about it is just power is a little like money. You gotta have faith in it. Money in of itself is just paper. Pretty worthless, actually. The thing is that we have money. We give money power. We put faith in that money that it has value, and that value can be exchanged for goods and services. It's one of those things where when you have a lot of money, i.e., that translates into power. You have a lot of influence, and with a huge number of people behind you, that supposedly will support you in whatever endeavor you decide to embark on, means you have power. You have the power to make change. You have power to manipulate. Why do you think politicians want it so badly? Because they want to force their agenda onto other people and onto you. It's up to us to decide to support it. If we don't agree with their agenda or their ability to manipulate us, then, they have no power. The reason that the government is powerful is because it's backed by life and death. It controls life and death, and it's backed by, the gun, basically. Backed by weapons. If the government had no weapons, the government had no guns, do you think it has power? I don't think so. The thing is about the ability to have power is that you are part of that. You are, you have the ability to decide whether someone has power over you or not. If you believe in what someone is doing and is able to get it done, but you yourself can't do it. You give that person the power to do the thing you want to do. The problem is that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the thing about it, is that once you have the taste of power, the ability to get things done on your terms, then it's very easy to be corrupt, lose sight of the reason you were given power, or become, basically out of control. Wanting to force your agenda on other people, that may do them harm, that only benefit you. And that to me is something that I think is incredibly out of control these days. People want to say how to live, and we fundamentally, want to decide for ourselves how we want to live our lives. Most people, I think, I could be wrong on this, just want to be left alone. They just want to just be left alone. They want to raise their family, have a peaceful life, enjoy things that they're doing, live in relative peace. I think most of us want that. The thing is that, especially in the comic book community, there are those out there who seek power, and in order to achieve it, they cause trouble. Or they feel like in order to gain power, they have to cause trouble, because they feel like they have the backing of many, many, many people. When in reality, that's not real power, The thing about power is that you want to use it for good whenever you can. So many people abuse it. They feel like they have to because that's the only way they can get it. I like to think that, I don't think I am a powerful person, myself. Oh, do I have some power? Yeah, I have a little. I can control what gets into Antarctic Press. So I have that ability, But you yourself can decide, what? I'm just going to do it myself. I don't need Antarctic Press. You can decide that. That's your power. That's your ability to control the outcome of something you have. And, when you are at a whim of somebody else, then you are in their control. When you relinquish power, usually it's voluntary. You do it because, you stand to gain something. You stand to maybe, advance in life. In this way you give a little to gain more down the road. I have people, who I am dear friends with. Over time, I've given them bits of my power. Give them editorship, give them the ability to control things that normally an editor wouldn't control, or a publisher. Because I trust them. I trust that they'll do the right thing. And it's very difficult for people to give up any type of power to somebody else in the fear that they themselves will lose power. But, the thing about it is that I don't care. My long-term goal is not to gain as much power and influence as I can. My long-term goal is the health of Antarctic Press and the health of the comic industry, which I love. Those are things that, I love more than anything else except my family and life itself. Because I love people. I trust people. I love people because, there are people out there who want to do harm. Sure. Want to do harm to me. I understand that. That's just the nature of things. But I don't want to let it make me bitter or angry or negative. People say bad things to me all the time. Sure. But, I laugh it off. There's an old adage that says, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Seems to me that names are starting to hurt people. The thing about it is that name calling can ruin people's reputations, can destroy lives, because what we say, and that's power. They say there's power in words. There are. Absolutely, that is true. You can take over whole countries with words. You can influence masses of people with words. We are, species that communicate with words. And if we give the right words, you can easily get what you want. So it's just one of those things where you have to stop and think about just how much power do you have? How much power do you yield? How much power do you give to other people? The thing about it is that people only thrive to be powerful because we either give them money, give them money, or we give them influence. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. What do you think people who become rich? Wealth does not appear out of nowhere. There's not some magical genie that suddenly says, poof, here you go, you're rich. No. You gain money, by physical means. You either earn it, or you inherit it, or you steal it. And to me, my father always told me that the government, they steal. It's legal theft. They give themselves the power to steal money from you. We can't do it because they have, the backing of the gun. If the government were to come up to you and say, hey, we're here to collect, and they had no way to back up that, to back that up, do you think you would voluntarily give them money? I think in most cases, no. The thing about it, all these people complain about, the government needs more money. Nobody is stopping anybody from giving the government as much money as humanly possible. Nobody. My dad used to tell me it's the duty of every American citizen to pay the least amount of taxes. Because, when the government is a lot like a spoiled child. You give them money and they spend it. You give them more money, they spend it. Unless you put limits on their power, then they're just only going to grow their power. The thing about it is that in comics, what does it truly mean to have power? Editors have power, publishers have power, owners of companies have power. They all have power, but in the grand scheme of things, does it amount to much? Not really. Nobody really cares. Especially people. You think, okay, Marvel and DC, the two biggest comic book companies in the United States, possibly in the world. And they're tiny, minuscule little dots on a corporate map of Warner Brothers and DC. They just assume just shut it down, be done with it. Don't bother. They got, nearly 100 years worth of material. They could just reprint. They could start from day one, reprint every single thing in order, and they could go on for another 80 years. It's that easy. So next time you think about your role in life and in the comic industry, think about how much power you have. The one thing you do have control is your own creation. Your own creation is yours. That's why it's so important that creators maintain ownership of what they create. It's that is power. You have the power to, maintain your creation. You have the power to benefit from your creation. And if it's a success, you gain more power. You have the ability to do things that you normally couldn't do without the success of your creation. So I'm just giving you a little thought for the day, and I just hopefully that you'll think about that for a little bit, and you'll take it for what you will. It's just my opinion. You can agree with me or disagree. I fully respect whatever you think of what I'm saying. My own personal belief is, like I said, do what you will, harm no one. So I do have a Kickstarter campaign going. This is my shill of the day. It's going to end tomorrow. It's called Mighty Tiny. It's on Kickstarter. It's a steampunk anthropomorphic adventure. I hope you'll be a backer. Until next time, this has been Dunn signing off.